Hi, I'm Obliviousquill. In this video, I'll explain the final adjustments I make to my webtoon before exporting it for upload. A lot of beginner artists focus only on the drawing itself, but presentation and pacing are equally important in webtoons because readers experience their comic through scrolling. So once I finish all my panels, rendering, and dialogue, I move on to reviewing the entire episode from top to bottom. The first thing I do is scroll through the canvas slowly and look at the overall reading flow. Since webtoons are designed for vertical scrolling, pacing matters a lot. The spacing between panels controls how fast or slow readers absorb information. For example, if you place panels too close together, the episode can feel cramped and overwhelming. Readers may accidentally read dialogue out of order or skip details because too much is happening at once. Sometimes, while previewing the episode, I notice awkward spacing or pacing problems. Maybe two dialogue-heavy panels are too close together, or maybe an emotional moment feels rushed. Instead of redrawing everything, Captivate Paint has a very useful feature called Extend Crop Canvas. Go to Edit, change Canvas Height, Extend or Crop. This lets you increase or decrease the canvas size vertically without affecting your artwork quality. I use this feature constantly while editing episodes because pacing almost always changes during the drawing process. If I need to reposition panels, I move them using the Transform tool. I select the folder and use Edit, Transform, Scale, or Rotate. This allows me to move the entire panel up or down while keeping everything organized. Personally, I like to keep at least a 200 pixel gap between panels as a minimum, but honestly, more spacing usually feels better for readers, especially on phones. Many beginners try to fit too much onto one page because they want the episode to feel longer, but overcrowded panels often make the reading experience worse. Another thing I focus on during final adjustments is the visual flow. In webtoons, you're basically guiding the reader's eyes down the screen. Good visual flow makes scrolling feel smooth and natural. One trick I often use is adding hatching brushes and effect strokes between panels. These effects subtly guide the reader's eyes towards the next panel while also making the transitions feel less empty. Clip Studio Paint has many built-in decoration brushes, but you can also download custom ones from the Clip Studio Asset Store. After downloading an asset, it will appear in the download section of the tool group. Now let's talk about one of my favorite parts, sound effects. Adding sound effects or onomatopoeia helps static panels feel alive. Even though webtoons don't have animation or audio, readers mentally imagine the sounds while reading. For example, the door opening, sighs, movements. The fastest way to create sound effects is by typing them using the text tool. I recommend using fonts that match the mood of the scene. For example, rough handwriting fonts for action scenes, thin elegant fonts for emotional scenes, bold heavy fonts for loud sounds. After typing the sound effect, I usually add a border effect. Go to Layer Property, Border Effect. This creates an outline around the text, helping it stand out against the artwork. You can customize the border thickness and border color. This is extremely useful when your background is detailed or dark. Personally, my favorite method is handwriting the sound effects myself. Handwriting sound effects feels more expressive because the brush strokes can match the emotion of the scene. I add a layer above my panel folders and make sure to turn on the border effect so it stands out. This way, any line I draw on the layer will have a border surrounding it automatically. This is a Clip Studio asset that I recommend for sound effects. Another feature I use often is auto actions. Auto actions are basically recorded commands that automatically apply effects to your layers. For example, instead of manually changing the blending layers, adding low and effects, an auto action can do all of that instantly with one tap. One auto action I use for sound effects is this glow one, which creates a glow effect around the text. I use this to emphasize magical moments or a beautiful scene. I add the auto action downloaded to the auto action window and press play on the text. Auto actions save a huge amount of time when producing weekly Webtoon episodes. But remember, effects should support the scene, not overpower it. If every panel has sparkles, glowing effects, speed lines, and giant sound effects, the episode can start feeling visually exhausting. Another useful tool is focus lines. Focus lines can emphasize dramatic emotions like shock, anger, fear, or intensity. Clip Studio Paint has built-in focus line tools under the comic tool category. You can drag across the screen to instantly generate dynamic line effects. In the tool settings, you can customize the gap of the lines, length, and brush size of the focus lines. After adding all these finishing touches, I always preview the Webtoon before exporting it. Go to View, On-Screen Area, Webtoon. This feature simulates how your comic appears on a smartphone while scrolling vertically. This is extremely important because a Webtoon may look perfectly fine zoomed out on your computer, but awkward on mobile. For example, the text may appear too small, panels may scroll too quickly, or gaps may feel too cramped. Previewing helps you catch these problems early. If you have Clip Studio Paint installed on multiple devices like your phone, you can also preview your progress there in real time. For example, using a feature called Companion Mode on your phone, it allows you to view the episode on my smartphone while working in Clip Studio Paint on my tablet. Simply connect both devices to the same Clip Studio account and Wi-Fi and open Companion Mode on the mobile device. Scan the QR code after pressing Connect to Smartphone icon. This is a great way to check text size, panel spacing, and pacing from the reader's perspective, helping you catch issues that may not be obvious on a larger screen. Once I'm satisfied with the final episode, it's time to export. For Clip Studio Paint EX users, File, Special Export, Export Webtoon. For Clip Studio Paint Pro users, File, Export, Single Layer. When exporting, I usually choose JPEG because the file is smaller while still keeping decent quality. Line Webtoon uses a size of 800 pixels width and 1280 pixels height per slice. In the EX version, Clip Studio Paint can automatically divide your long canvas into smaller sections during export. This saves a lot of time because manually slicing files can be extremely tedious. For example, one long episode can automatically split into over 30 upload-ready files. In the Pro version, Clip Studio Paint doesn't have the Export Webtoon feature, so you have to save each page manually as a single layer. You can specify the output size. I'll go for 800 pixels wide, and the program will resize the length as well. Some platforms like Webtoon Canvas already have built-in slicing systems, so you can upload one long image directly. Always check the upload requirements of the platform you're posting on because file size and image sizes differ. Clip Studio Paint also has a direct upload feature for Webtoon, which saves even more time. Creating Webtoons may feel intimidating at first because there are many steps involved, but eventually the workflow becomes natural through repetition. The most important thing is finding a pace you can maintain consistently. Your first Webtoon does not need to look perfect. Every episode teaches you something new. Over time, you'll naturally improve your storytelling, panel composition, coloring, pacing, and workflow speed. So don't compare yourself too much to professional creators who have been drawing for years. Focus on improving little by little and building a workflow that works for you. I hope this video helped you understand the final stages of creating a Webtoon in Clip Studio Paint. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you the best on your Webtoon creation journey.